Alright folks, let's try this one more time. This is a proof of life for a 1088 XEL build. It is for Invoice 1004362. Alright, this took us about a month and a half to build. A couple of reasons for it. One of the reasons was the backplane had to be reordered and our CNC router is not up yet, so we had to mail off for those. Other than that, you know, it just takes a while to build. Alright, so this is a standard customer 1088 XEL build, except the customer had a Sophia revision C that they wanted installed, so we installed that for them. And then, as you can see here, just the standard ports on the back. Joystick 1, joystick 2. This is disk swap. We'll see that in a bit. CompactFlash, DVI out. This is composite out. Yes, I know it's a white plug. I'm being chintzy with the, or cheap with the cables. This is S-Video down here. This PS2 mouse, PS2 keyboard, audio out there. And SiO2 PC over here, and then standard power jack, cartridge port, indicator lights, mouse select switch. Okay, so we're going to put you back on the tripod here. Hopefully you will neither run out of battery nor get filled up with a card. Okay, let's power you on. Nice little splash screen. Okay, no VBXE. Okay, you may notice that it's got FAT FS driver loaded and a RC Graphics 8 driver loader. This gives us a couple of things when I'm testing units. One, it gives me access to the FAT16 partitions so that you can have it both in the loader and available at SpartaDOS. Makes things easier to transfer over to different DOS type disks or to a real floppy drive, and vice versa. You will also notice that I have this drive set for E. I just changed the prompt for in my AutoExec bat file, prompt $string $L $P. I still, in my mind, see if I see a dollar sign in a computer, it's a string. Nothing too exciting here. I've got SpartaDOS Commander set up. I have the day and time set to the US, just because lots of customers tend to like it that way, and so it makes it easier to edit. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is to demonstrate the S-Drive Max. Not to demonstrate the S-Drive Max in and of itself, but to demonstrate that stock SIO works. You can see that we have an ATR loaded. It's just a basic music player. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to A. I have it set up to automatically read the directory, so we know as soon as I input A that the drive is active. We're going to do a directory. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bounce back to E for just a second, and then I'm going to do a directory so that you can see that the CompactFlash access lights, which are right here, are working. Okay. I'm going to put you back here. Tilt you up just there. I'm going to go back to A and demonstrate. So what I want to do is go to Basic. I'm going to load D1. Load D1 player. Run. Okay, I'm going to play this for like 8 seconds, maybe if that, just so you can see it working. And then I'm going to press F12 and get into the Ultimate 1 Meg firmware. Okay, the reason why I cut it off is that if I let it go too long, YouTube nails it for a copyright infringement, which is just damned annoying. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is going to show you the graphical OS, because it's an excellent way to show you that the mouse is working. Going to enable the graphical OS, which automatically disables Sparta-DOS-X. I'm going to press B to boot. Okay, mouse is working. Profiler. This is just a very cool, kind of a proof of concept thing that FJC, Jonathan Halliday in the UK did. I figure I keep showing people that it's on their machines, and it can be on any Ultimate 1 Meg equipped Atari. Maybe when John gets some time, he can update it so that it has a little more functionality. I think it's great. You should send him an email and tell him it's great too. This also enables me to show you the mouse select switch here. There's a little LED and a little switch right there. It's kind of recessed, so you have to either press it with a sharp nail or just a little pin or something. It'll go from off to green to red again. Red is port 2, which is where most Atari 8 software looks for its mouse. See, once it's off, twice it's green, 3 times it's off, and 4 times it's back to red. Okay? So, obviously the mouse works. Everything's all good. We're going to press F12 again. We're going to enable Sparta-DOS, so that disables graphical OS. And then just get to the rest of this. You can see that stereo is enabled, GTIA is enabled. The PBI BIOS is enabled because otherwise the hard drive wouldn't work. I set it to boot off D5 because that, in my mind, is where the first mass storage device on Atari is going to be. Since most physical drives for the Atari, only go to D4, then D5 should be the default. Sort of like C is the default hard drive for, a Windows machine or a DOS machine. Okay? Slave is not enabled because there's only one CompactFlash slot in here. You could upgrade it to a 2, but you'd have to change the backplane and everything like that. I've got high-speed I/O enabled. I like to hear sound every time a drive is accessed on an Atari. Why? Because I'm used to hearing sound. If I'm accessing a file on an Atari, the SIO should be making noise. I know some people disagree with that. I don't care. Okay, this tells you that it's 3.10, which is the most current. The VBXE is not present because there's no VBXE, but stereo is present. All right. I've got the joystick input disabled because I tend to use the joystick port to flash ROMs, and it gets annoying when I leave the flasher in there, or the burner in there. Sound's enabled, screensaver's enabled. Screensaver just means if you leave it on for a little bit, the logo will bounce around. Don't really need it in this day and age, but maybe you've got it on a CRT. I don't know. Okay, all of these keys and brackets can be pressed at any time. What we're going to do is save, and then we're going to load the loader. And the loader just gives into the DOS Windows partitions so that we can do another thing. A lot of times you've got multi-disc games, and with ATRs, how do you load the next disc? You do it with a map file. So I'm going to load this map file here. It's automatically going to load the first file. I'm going to press start. Okay, and then I'm going to take you off the tripod for a second here. If you notice, if I press enter here, it doesn't do anything. So I go back here and I press this button. This will light. That tells you that you have set it to tell the computer to load the next disk. I'm going to press enter right here. and it starts loading the next disk. The light goes out. Okay? Again, this is just a little demo. It's a little loud, I get that. I'm trying to put the camera back in the tripod there. We're going to go to F12. Now, here's the thing. If you do that, I'm going to go back to the loader now, and those disks are loaded there. So if we go to access drive 1 on the S drive, there's going to be a conflict. So always unmount your ATRs after you're done with them. You could also power cycle, that's up to you. And then we're going to go to boot SpartaOS X. Okay, so everything's been demonstrated except DVI, and that's going to be an addendum to this video. I've already done it because it's at a different test station. And mouse, keyboard, disk swap, audio, video, joystick ports. Oh, and cartridge port. Okay, so I'm going to, in order to do a cartridge, remember that SpartaOS X is a cartridge. So you've got to turn it off for cartridges to work. F12, SpartaOS disabled. Now, if I press boot, it's going to go boot error. That's fine. I'm going to cycle off. Now, you can do this in any order. You can cycle it off or power it off and then put the cartridge in. And I'm just going to do beef drop here. And the reason why I use beef drop is it's got the little standard Atari thing. There are pins in there, but sometimes you just got to jiggle it a little bit. Make sure it's flush. And then power it in. So, you can do this either way. You can put the power it off, put the cartridge in, and then disable SpartaOS. Or disable SpartaOS, power it off, and then put the cartridge in. Up to you. But as you can see, beef drop is there. Let's get the best joystick ever made for the Ataris, the 500XJ. Put it in port 1. Port 1 is right there. Okay, I'm going to press. Okay. I'm not going to play this whole game. Just right, left, up, up, down. Okay. Okay, cartridge, CompactFlash works, obviously. We've been booting off it. Disk swap drive, SIO works, audio works, DVI, mouse, cartridge, joystick. Yeah, we're all good. I will verify that SIO2PC works, but you need additional software for that, which you can download off the interwebs. It's called Respect, R-E-S-P-E-Q-T. This will kind of sort of work with the SIO2PC sold by Atari Max, but their software is really tuned for their hardware, and it's really good hardware. And if you didn't have one already built in, I would recommend you buy that. But Respect is free, or shareware. You should donate to the cause. Other than that, it's good to go, and I hope you enjoy your machine. I'm now shutting it off.